Richard McCormick, since this is a Republican, at least Vittert is talking about this, what is he saying exactly is being covered up?
Well, I realize he's a good friend of mine, but also we can be a little bit dramatic. We know there's been a lot of UFOs out there unidentified. That's what makes them unidentified. We don't know what they are. I'm a Marine Corps pilot for 16 years. I've known pilots who've seen things, but they couldn't explain it. That doesn't mean there's not an explanation. It doesn't mean that there's not aliens. But I don't believe there's a huge cover-up. I don't believe, just like with the JFK shootings when we released a bunch of stuff and there was no there. I'm just looking forward to find out as much as possible, but I don't think anybody's really trying to cover this up. I'm looking forward to
hearing this thing about we want to find out as much as possible. Yes. Sometimes at some point we've found out everything there is. We're not going to all be allowed into Area 51 for obvious reasons. But Congressman Subramanian, I'm always taken during this conversation by the question of where is the there? Our government cannot count votes in California in 2 weeks, and we're expected to believe that for 80 years, multiple generations, they have covered up what would be the greatest secret in human history? I just don't think the government's that good.
I don't know if the government's that good either. I'll say that there is a lot of information that these agencies have kept that a lot of people want to see. They want to see exactly what's there, and they want that form of transparency. And I say, let's give it to the people and let them make their own decision. I've seen some of it. I'll agree with Congressman McCormick that there's definitely some unexplainable stuff, but that doesn't mean there isn't an explanation, or that doesn't mean the explanation that it's little green men in a spaceship. So, I say release all the stuff and let people make their own decisions.
Okay, but Rich McCormick, there's two answers to that. One is there's things we can't release because maybe it's U.S. technology or maybe it's technology from other countries that we're surveilling. It hurts national security to release, which, of course, then everyone says you're covering everything up. Are we to believe that any secret the public has a right to demand under the name of transparency?
That's a really good point, actually. As a military guy, I will say there are technologies we're probably protecting that we have that maybe could explain some of these unidentified objects, as well as technologies of foreign countries and adversaries that we want to protect. I think the more concerning thing is, where are the scientists going? We do know that several leading scientists have disappeared. That's the one that I'm more curious about, because that's a factual debate.
Well, that is. I want to play for you real quickly David Grush, who's been one of the big whistleblowers in this. Take a listen.
I certainly don't have the compendium. It's a continuum from corporeal, bipedal type life to, what I would consider like sentient plasmoid life. But there are several that the U.S. government is aware of.
Do either of you have any idea what he is talking about?
Yeah, I've gotten that briefing from him directly, and basically what he's saying is there's different types of aliens that have been identified and we've made contact with. I'm a little skeptical. I think if you're going to make that kind of claim, you need some really hard proof, and I haven't seen any hard proof yet. So, but that's certainly what he's saying.
No, I'm extremely skeptical.
Rich McCormick, we all are, trust me. What I'm skeptical about, though, is that this is all happening at exactly the same time there is this big movie from Steven Spielberg. I don't believe in coincidences in Washington.
No, I don't either, and I think this does coincide with a lot of drama, a lot of publicity. People love to have their claim to fame. But quite frankly, once again, even in the military, you've seen how people don't even keep secrets in top secret missions. We're making movies, and a year later, on things that we know we're not supposed to be talking about. I just don't see how they keep this a secret.
Yeah, well, maybe that's the point, that there isn't one, except in the movies, which Spielberg has always been able to bring to life. Gentlemen, thank you both.